Today on R&R on Sports, Larry and Howard talk about the growing popularity of women's basketball and the men's and women's Final Four. That and more on this week's episode of R&R on Sports. Now, here are your hosts, Larry Robinson and Howard Robertson.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I am the eyelash slayer, Larry Robinson.
You slaying them now?
I'm slaying the eyelashes.
I thought they were already dead.
I am outlawing
I thought they were already deceased.
I am outlawing eyelashes on the basketball
No,
court.
you're not.
That's like
boy.
jewelry. That's like running around. You remember back in the day, like Run
about?
DMC used to have them big dookie chains?
Yeah.
That's the equivalent. Eyelashes are the equivalent to the big dookie chain.
Goodness, how long do they have to be?
I'm trying to see how they see. I want to know the shooting percentage.
Everybody looking like Bambi.
I want to see the shooting percentage of women with eyelashes versus the women that don't. See, because Caitlin Clark ain't wearing no eyelashes. And she's shooting.
She's wearing her own. She ain't wearing nobody else's, I don't think. But
it's some lady in India.
You checked the game out?
Eyelashes and no hair.
You checked the game out?
Got no hair and no eyelashes. It's some lady in India running around with bald eyes.
But she got money because she sold them. She sold them at a high price. Both of them. You checked the game out?
Man, what a game!
You and a lot of millions of others.
Yeah, 12.3.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, the highest watched female or college basketball game in history. I mean, just literally the most watched college basketball game.
Oh, college basketball
ESPN
game, period?
In history. Yes. 12.3
men or
women.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
That's excellent.
It was
tremendous.
an amazing game, and I'm loving the energy of the ball play of women's basketball. Mm-hmm. I actually know the women ball players. That's
you know a few. You know, don't make it sound like you know.
Don't
make it sound like you are versed in all of them players. But I
don't know any of the men.
I don't know any of the men. Yes, you do.
I don't know that many of the men ball players.
Well,
I mean, literally, because all the guys are going to the league, and then they sit deep on the bench.
I like the way they're playing. I think the men are playing at a high level, and I'm enjoying watching them. I am.
It seems more excitement in the women's game to me, man.
All right,
and then it's definitely more fundamentally sound. I mean,
but you know what? I think there is an unfair. I don't think people should compare the two. I mean, as if everybody is going to go over to women's basketball and prefer to watch that be the first preference or the first choice. I don't think that's going to happen. I think. And I'm sure the ticket prices
they're doubled. The ticket prices of the Final Four has doubled the price of men.
God
it's because
bless them,
you got the young lady Bucher who plays for Connecticut that's
UConn.
cold, blooded.
I
mean, and did you see her speech? Did you see? We gotta go to the ESPY speech from last year. So listen.
From this Bucher
lady? Yes.
Oh, really?
She said she had to stand up for the sisters.
Okay.
She said she had to stand up for black women because they not getting love and respect. I have to give it up because that took some gonads.
Okay.
That took some serious gonads.
No, it took something else.
No, so something else. But
Anatomically, I don't think that's possible.
But literally, the young lady it's of substance.
Okay,
and
good.
And I really appreciated that, but she's also a baller. Her and Juju Watkins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like her too. I like her too. So we're going to talk more about NCAA and everything else on the other side of this, only on R&R on Sports.
Looking to make your event unforgettable? Let Kadzukian handle all of your event production needs. At Kadzukian, we specialize in event production services that elevate every moment. From flawless sound to captivating visuals, we've got you covered. Make your event shine with Kadzukian. Contact us today at kadzukian.com or give us a call at 901-512-6767.
Kadzukian.
Thanks for calling the 3 Wishes hotline, where your wish is our command. Get 3 wishes for only $3,000. This is Jeannie speaking, and what are your wishes today?
Yo, what up? I need to get 3 wishes granted.
That's what I'm here for, man. Get 3 in the can for only $3,000.
I wish the Denver Broncos practice squad hadn't got paid before Super Bowl week. Because then, I wouldn't have that little situation I had and stuff. I wish that girl hadn't have been so damn fine. She had that Serena body. It was like, pow, pow. I wish I still got my Super Bowl ring, so I can show my boys and stuff back at the crib.
Oh, you no get no sue from Peyton. All right, I scratch out payday like it never happened. That girl is now skinny, ugly, with bad skin and breath, and you'll get a Super Bowl ring. Now, it might be from Super Bowl 5 instead of 50, but it beats nothing. That'll be 3Gs. Now, what's the name on your credit card?
I ain't got no credit card yet, but the name on my EBT card is Ryan, R. Murphy.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Thanks for calling the 3 Wishes hotline, where your wishes are command. Get 3 wishes for only $3,000. This is Ginny speaking, and what are your wishes today?
Shalom. I want my 3 wishes granted immediately.
Well, all right, mister. Have no fears. Your wishes are granted when your payment clears.
They better be. Number 1, I want the Cleveland Cavaliers. I wish they'd lose every game from now on.
To the end of the season?
Hell no. Forever. Number 2, I wish that little scraggly hair on LeBron's head to fall out all over the floor, even the implants. I want him to go through his life ball as a cue ball so everybody can see that lopsided head he's been trying to hide. And number 3, I wish all the players and everybody in the Cavs front office would immediately experience severe male member shrinkage.
Oh, my severe?
Damn right.
Oh, we talking small?
Tiny.
Like Pee-wee jockstrap?
Nah, like a Band-Aid.
All right, the Cavs is going 0 and forever. LeBron hair is out. Shrinkage is underway. That'll be 3Gs. Now, what's the name on your credit card?
It's D. Blatt.
Okay, Mr. B. Fat.
I said D. Blatt. D-B-L-A-T-T. You dumb.
Oh, all right, Mr. Blatt. I'm so sorry. Your payment has been processed. Wishes have been granted. And now I need you to do me one more thing.
What is it?
Unzip your pants and have a squint. But let me tell you this little hint. The next time you try to please her, you're going to need a magnifying glass and some tweezers.
Oh, God, where did it go?
Who's the bitch now, Blatt?
Riffin' on Jazz.
Can't you see Miss Dawson? I mean, with that name, Mary Cardwell Dawson. You can see that. I can see that.
Riffin' on Jazz on the Kadzukian Network.
Kadzukian.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Back. So we worse and worse every week. So we're talking about NCAA. You were talking about preferring to watch the women over the men. Okay, all right.
I'd like it because it
This
seems
year,
to be
I'll
more
give you that.
excitement. There's more competition. The names are bigger. Because we've got a chance to watch them. I mean, the only person that
Okay, so tell them the women's Final Four.
the women's Final Four is UConn, NC State, Iowa, and South Carolina.
Okay.
And I mean, each one has a really cool story. So you got the young lady Bucher at UConn, who is really just a solid citizens, got something to say, but then she's got serious game. She's battled through injury and all of that kind of stuff. So I like that. Then North Carolina State, I'm not remembering the young lady's name, but really sharp shooter, a real scorer, real exciting ball player. Then you got Caitlin Clark at Iowa, and Caitlin, man, Caitlin to me is going to just change the dynamic. She is the equivalent of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan.
One?
What they were to, the NBA
all in
game.
one. They were more than one. That was.
I'm not saying all in one. I'm saying as far as what they were able to do for NBA basketball. I believe she's going to be able to
okay. So why put that all on Caitlin? Can't and what's my girl's name from LSU?
Angel Reese,
Angel Reese, and even but can't Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark be for women's basketball, women's
Magic
national
and
WNBA? What Magic and Larry Bird
I can see that.
Because both of them are going.
Right.
They're going to go in at the same time.
Right.
Just like Magic and Larry did.
They could have that
They played
rivalry.
each other. They battled each other just like Magic and Larry did.
Right. I can see that. But I'm saying with Caitlin Clark, what she does is more. So you got with Angel Reese, she's in the paint. She's getting 20 boards. She's playing. What Caitlin is doing is so much more dynamic and exciting and engaging. I mean, the girl's doing step sideways 3-pointers and she's shooting from the logo.
Look like she lying.
But in addition to that,
like she
doing a Texas hold down.
No. What was the other one? The
electric slide?
No, the other one after that.
I can't
jump back. Oh Lord. Anyway,
so but nah, she's and then on top of that, she's shooting from the logo. Then she's playing the game the right way, and that she's passing the ball. I mean, she's getting 10, 12 assists. I mean, Caitlin to me is captured the imagination of the country, and to me, that's what's going to change the experience with WNBA and the fact that people are going to want to go see it. Even men will want to go see the WNBA.
That's good.
And with this thing, and I say the person that's not getting any props is got to be Ice Cube, because Ice Cube made the most amazing marketing move for the big three. And I just think it's brilliant by offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to play.
Right.
Once again, I think if she never comes to play, he's gotten so much earned media, by him making that offer, the big three. He couldn't have paid for that much publicity.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they both make in the WNBA.
And then you got, wait a minute, then I left out South Carolina. The fact that they're undefeated. I mean, I just think that they are an amazing ball team. I think they got an amazing young talent that's coming on the scene in full Wiley. I just think that, women's basketball is at an all-time high, unlike it's ever been before.
And that's good to see. I mean, rising tide lifts all boats, so I want them all to do well. I'm watching the men. I'm liking the characters that are developing and have developed in the men's Final Four.
Who do you like the most on the men's side?
I'll tell you who I like the most. My Cinderella absolutely is North Carolina State.
Oh, yeah. DJ Burns Jr.
Man,
DJ Burns Jr.,
And
baby.
what I love about him is that how much joy he plays with. He's having a good time.
He's having a great time.
I love, no pressure on him. He's having a good time.
And he's demanding of his teammates.
I love to see
he
that.
kind of said some things that, that things change when we really got locked in.
Somebody was at my house the other day. They said, who Burns reminds me of? I said who?
Zach
they said
Randolph.
Zach Randolph.
He's jumping about 2 inches. You can't slide a sheet of paper under that vertical.
But he gets the ball.
But he gets
the
it
ball.
in. Man, he is nice.
2.5-inch vertical, but he gets the ball.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
I'm really excited about what's happening in North Carolina State. I'd love to see them go to the finals and ultimately win it. But I mean, you got my man Edie.
You got
over
Edie,
at Purdue.
And
then you got UConn.
Oh my goodness.
UConn just has a cast of characters, man. I mean, UConn has a team of just amazing ball players. And I mean, you're going to see several of them. Kind of reminds me of Villanova, where you got so many players that end up in the league over the next few years.
Right.
I see the same thing happening with UConn.
Right.
And that a lot of players that you'll be like, oh, well, he was on that team. Yeah, he was on that team. He was on that team. He was on that. It's going to be that type of thing.
That's good. So it's some good basketball happening, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. So on the pro ranks, like MVP race going on.
I think that's been
playoffs
decided.
about
I think
to
that's
start.
Decided. Who you got for the MVP? Just as your thoughts on it.
I don't know. I don't think much about the MVP.
Really?
To be honest with you, no, I don't.
Why not?
It's frivolous to me.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think we are just into a lot of fluff on a lot of stuff. Who you got? I mean,
I'm thinking Jokic. I mean, Jokic,
well,
man.
yeah, I think that's
he's so amazing as a big man. Very rarely have we seen
can do
a
all
big
of
man that literally basically averages a triple-double. I mean, he's an excellent passer. I mean, he can score when he wants to. He takes over the game when he has to. I mean, and then he's just playing, and he plays at a pace that we've never seen before. It's not like he's super athletic. I mean, it's not like he's a dazzling
he is
dribbler.
super thick. That's a thick boy.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that he's so skilled. He and Luka Doncic are so skilled because both of them, they move at their own pace, but yet and still they take their step back. They kind of lull you to sleep. Luka is an amazing passer within his own right. I mean, it's just. I mean, I love the way they're playing. And I mean, this kid Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Canadian, he's coming. He's come on the scene. He did an amazing job last year, but he might mess around and be your first $300 million. $300 million, $400 million player, because I mean they're gonna max him out, and so he'll do exceptionally well there. He'll be making $60-70 million. Luka Doncic, same way, he'll be maxed out. $60-70 million a year. I mean, I see the NBA in a real good space. I don't think Bronny gonna be there though next year. I don't think
in the NBA.
I don't think so.
He shouldn't be
because he's not. He's not there yet.
No, he's
not there.
No, go to college. What's wrong with college?
Nothing wrong with it. He'll never have to work a day in his life.
You are not your father.
Right.
Go to college. Get you a degree. Go to college. Stay in college. Do your thing in college, and then get out. NBA is always going to be there for you.
And it's
not like it's going
deals.
anywhere.
He's getting those NIL deals.
Yeah.
He's got a couple million on that, so
money.
It ain't like he's in.
You got to run to the NBA to make some money.
Not anymore. You ain't got to do it. So, and it ain't like he's like, I got to help my mama buy a house.
No, yeah, right. I'm buy my mama a house. She always I
want to retire my mama. Your mama good retired, bro.
Yeah.
Your mama, your grandmama, your baby sister, everybody retired.
Right. Exactly. You are not the breadwinner of that family right now.
I don't think he ever will be,
unless
he cure cancer or something.
So we got a great interview. With, as we always do, y'all know us, this ain't your first rodeo, so y'all know we got somebody dynamic on the other side of this. You are listening to R&R on Sports on the Kadzukian Network.
Kadzukian. The company is based in Memphis, but it is international.
A new building, an expanded team, new equipment, a new studio, all inside of 7 years.
The resources that we were able to utilize with Kazukian and their team has been incredible. And our partners at Kazukian has been a large part of our success.
One, it's Black owned, so we get to tell our own stories in our own way.
With social media and the technology we have today, the world is listening.
Kazukian. Check out all your Kazukian favorites now. Download the Kazukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I was actually trying to rush through it so that you wouldn't have time, but I should know you're pretty quick on the trigger. We are no less thrilled to have for you the best interviews ever. And for most of you, the first time that you've heard a lot of these folks, and today is absolutely no different. We are thrilled to have with us Coach Vanessa Blair Lewis, coach of the George Mason Patriots, and one of the greatest women's basketball coaches anywhere, anytime. Coach, welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you so much.
Hold on. Before y'all
I just tell
started,
what the Lord loves, and that's the truth.
Now you're a lie. See, you're lying right there. So listen. And let me tell you something. Lynn Thompson, athletic director at Bethune-Cookman, described Coach Blair Lewis as a phenomenal person who happens to be a great coach. What you got to say? What you got to say about that, Coach Lewis?
Man, I'm just an image reflecting the mirror I was able to look into for the last 14 years, because that's who he is. He was an athletic director. He was a great man who just happened to be an AD.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's a great way. Just start out with all kind of love. Just love.
Mutual love. Just feel it.
Love all over there. Just feel it.
Open your arms and close your eyes. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Coach, we always start with a little bit about the journey. And tell everyone give us, we like to say the Cliff Notes version. Give us a Cliff Notes version of this stellar, outstanding career.
Wow. I would be remiss to say if this was any of my planning or doing. I think we make our plans and God laughs.
Absolutely.
For me, growing up, I wanted to be a prosecuting attorney. So coaching was never in my, radar. That was nothing I ever wanted to do. But God put me on a track that he has kept me on for the last 24 years. And so I played for my father at high school, at Largo High School, right here in Maryland, in the DMV.
What part of Maryland?
Mitchellville. Yeah, just near Upper Marlboro.
Okay.
And so my dad was my first real look at what and how coaches should be to young women. And he ran our program as a family. And he was a dad to me, obviously, but I watched him be a dad to other girls who didn't have a father at home. He would come in, he worked for the federal government, Department of HUD. And so he took on that job as an emergency coach because no one wanted to coach us in that year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He stayed there 20 years, won several championships, state tournament. But I remember one of the girls saying to me as she passed my dad in the hallway, "Wow, I never have seen a man carry an attaché case." My dad would come in from work with his attaché case to practice every day, to be there for us. And so you get spoiled when you have that figure at home, when you have that role model. But these other girls that he helped send to college, hundreds of girls in that 20 years, he put on a track to change the life of them and their life generationally forever. And so I went on to college and I played for another male, Bill Sheehan, late Bill Sheehan. He coached at Holy Cross, which was in Virginia, Maryland. Mm-hmm. He won 100 games before he lost one in high school. He was an amazing coach. And then he took the job at Mount St. Mary's, where I followed years later and played under another stellar legend. And then when that journey was over, I was ready to go to law school at University of Virginia. And a team in Sweden called me and said, "Hey, we'd like for you to come play professionally." And I did. I enjoyed that tremendously. And when I got back home to the States, I was kind of in between the WNBA and I had a trial with the Mystics. And then I was like, well, do I go to law school? And my dad was like, well, just wait. You know, you're only going to be young enough to play this game while you're young enough to play the game. Once it's over, then real life, you can get them bills later.
Right.
So my college coach called Coach Sheehan and said, hey, I got a spot. Why don't you come back, coach with me while you get ready for, you know, playing. And I was rehabbing my knee at the time, nothing major surgery, but just, you know, meniscus stuff. And I said, well, that sounds like a great trade-off. I can train, I can play with the girls, and I can get ready to try out with the Mystics in the spring.
Right.
And so I did that, made it to the last cuts with the Mystics. And I was like, okay, well, maybe now I'll go to law school. And my coach convinced me one more year, just stay with me one more year. And so I did. I did 2 years as an assistant coach at Mount St. Mary's. And in September of going into the third year, where I was like, okay, this is it. I'm just going to do one more year and then I'm going to law school. He said, okay. And he called me into his office in September. We had started preseason and everything. He said, Vanessa, I just want to let you know first, outside of my family, that I'm going to retire.
Oh,
I said, oh, Coach, what a stellar career he's had there, won championships and all that. And I was just so blessed to be a part of just being with him and him welcoming me back as a former player on his staff. And I was thinking in my mind, wow, I can't wait to celebrate this year. Let's go win it all for him and parties at the end. And he said, well, I've already spoke with the athletic director and you have a press conference on Thursday where they'll name you my successor.
Wait a minute, hold on. Time out. Listen, you're listening to Iron On Sports, and we're speaking with George Mason's women's head coach, Vanessa Blair Lewis. Now, finish the story, Coach.
So
you got a press conference coming up Thursday.
Yeah, in a couple of days. I said, hold up, wait a minute. All these men in my life making these decisions for me. I don't know if that's what I want to do. I said, let me call my dad.
Okay.
So I called my dad. I told him what I just told you guys. And he said, oh, yeah, we'll be up. What time's the press conference? I said, Dad, I don't know if
What did you expect? Like, don't do it?
A conversation at least.
Okay.
Maybe what do you think? Or you know,
Right.
What is your choice in this? Nope, no decision, no choice. Not only did he convince me, but he was very, he said, you've given a lot to this game. And now it's time for you to give back to this game. And what better way to do it? What better person to do it than a person who's played there, who's an alumnus from there, who understands the game and not too far away in age from them. I was 24. I was one of the youngest head coaches in the country.
Wow.
A Division I head coach at 24. So some of those girls I literally had played with when they were freshmen. So it was a phenomenal journey from them. And my mom, when she got, I said, you know what, Dad, put Mom on the phone. I'm not talking to you. Let me ask Mom.
You ain't talking right.
The mom said, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Required. Yeah. Yes.
So this is your time now to give back to something that has been given to you. You've gotten an education paid for. The basketball took you around the world to play professionally. And now it's time for you to invest back. And so I took that job. And this job has led me to a lot of places and now back home where I've been able to touch and impact some of the youngest and brightest minds of this game and have been able to be touched and impacted by some of the youngest and brightest minds in this game.
You're listening to Coach Vanessa Blair Lewis of George Mason Patriots, head coach of the women's team. So, Coach, let's go back.
Okay.
When did you look at that orange ball and say, damn, I love you. I don't want to go nowhere without you. You are my everything. Do you remember that day?
I don't remember that day. And I'll say it in this way because I don't ever remember having to fall in love with something because it was always there.
Okay.
So my family, I have a very storied basketball family.
Okay.
My cousin Adrian Branch, which many of you may remember, played at Maryland, played for the Lakers championship, played for the late Morgan Wooten at DeMatha. Ted Jeffries played at University of Virginia. Now does his own podcast, Step to the Mic podcast with Andre Jones. My sister, who was one of the youngest young women in the 11th grade to try out for the Olympics in '88. My whole family, these are all first cousins.
In basketball?
In basketball. My entire family, my mom and dad met while in the Navy, and they met and played for the United States Navy, and that's how they met, both playing basketball. Like, there was never a time basketball wasn't in my life. And so my cousins, my mom is one of 11, my dad is one of 8. All of our first cousins, we play basketball, and most of us played at a very high level. So there was never a time that I had to fall in love with something, because it was always there.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow, that's a phenomenal story.
That is fantastic. It's kind of, basketball is kind of the family business in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whenever you come to the house, even to this day, my dad has early onset dementia. So, with that disease, that the short-term memory, the things that have happened right now are fleeting.
Yes.
Right. Long-term memory, is sharp. So when you come around Dad and you talk about basketball in the DMV, he's going back. Len Bias, he remembers all the girls he coached. He remembers the state championship, what suit he wore. Like, he can get down with you on any basketball level. And that was the way it was when you came to our house. You came to the back door, you sat down at the kitchen table, and basketball was talked about.
Okay, now real quick before we go to break, I want to know what impact did Len Bias's death have on you as a basketball player?
I remember, and this is actually what a lot of people talk about in the DMV. Where were you when you heard?
Yep, I remember where I was.
Yeah, I may have been 9, 8, maybe 10, and I was vacuuming the rug in the summertime because we had to get all of our chores done before Mom and Dad came home so that we could have these extracurricular activities. And I was vacuuming the rug. My brother was upstairs. My sister was in the other room, and I just heard them screaming. And I was just like, over the sound of it, and I'm looking at the TV, and it pops up, and my brother comes down, who's 6 years older than me. So he and Adrian Branch and all of them played with this guy, like on the playgrounds.
Right.
Eric's like, he's gone. Now, this is a guy who, because Adrian's my first cousin, Len Bias comes home with him. They grew up down the street from each other. We know him.
Right.
And at that time, at 9, 10 years old, you're thinking, kind of not what death means, but it hadn't hit me yet. My grandparents are still alive. My mom and dad are alive. Like, I haven't had to bury anyone yet. So you know about it through TV and theory, but not in practice yet. And I'm like, so he's not playing anymore, was my first thought.
Wow.
Because I just could not imagine, like, he's no longer here. And the days and weeks that followed, watching Lanice Bias with the strength that she had, go on without her son and take to the mic to stop, to say no to drugs campaign, where that became a huge impact in our, community. And she took up that cross literally for Christ as well. She's preached the gospel, and she went around the country, and she still does. And I just watched strength. I watched young people change because of something so impactful to them. And it became real in our community that crack was obviously huge in the 80s in our communities. But that as young people, we were not immune to death.
Yes. Yes. And that is an important emotion and feeling and lesson for young folk to learn, because it's not part of our purview. We're young, we've got all the energy in the world. Our friends are with us. We're going to live forever. And death is not a part of our
experience.
About experience right there. For somebody older, I mean, that, our older relatives and friends and family friends and whatnot, we come to understand. But when it hits somebody in our realm that we interact with, that we got, it's a whole different experience. So that's a wonderful point made, because I can recall that at 69, I can recall how that felt when I was 9.
Well, listen, we're going to pick it up on the other side. We're going to pick up the energy. We're going to find out how Coach Lewis felt coaching at an HBCU. On the other side of the break, we'll be right back with more on Our Own Sports right after this. Looking to make your event unforgettable? Let Kazukian handle all of your event production needs. At Kazukian, we specialize in event production services that elevate every moment. From flawless sound to captivating visuals, we've got you covered. Make your event shine with Kazukian. Contact us today at kazukian.com or give us a call at 901-512-6767.
Kazookian.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Thrilled to be talking to Coach Vanessa Blair Lewis, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Started out as a head coach at the tender age of 24 years old in a D1 school and has not looked back since, and got all the recognitions and awards to prove it. Coach, talk about, okay, so the experience, well, let's just cap off that initial engagement, that initial experience, being there, being 24, being head coach, being the coach of, you were literally the coach of some players that were freshmen that you played with. Is the first year, was that correct?
Yeah, that's just about correct. Yeah, I was 24, and so those freshmen that were coming in were definitely people I had known.
Wow. So, takeaways, lessons learned from beginning such an awesome career and coaching career at such a young age.
I'll say the biggest lesson I learned was moving from a player to a coach. It was all about winning. Like I had won my whole career. I won in high school. I won in college. I won the opportunity to go play professionally. I came back to a winning program that I had helped to continue establish. And now I get the reins of a job from a legend who was the winningest coach at that university that I was able to play under. And I have this pressure at 24 to continue this legacy. And I don't have all of the experience to be tied in to do it. So I knew at that point I had to hire the staff that could support my youth. Mm-hmm. So I hired Adrian Branch. He lived right there in Gaithersburg, Maryland. He was home from one of his excursions from playing in Australia. I was able to hire a guy from around the area who was older than me, who had been coaching. And so I was able to have this insulation, if you will, that would allow me to get the experience while I was learning on the job, that could help me in my blind spots, so to speak, that I just didn't know. And so in those early years, we won, and it was great. And then we hit a rough patch, and it may have been like year 7 or something. And I don't know, maybe we didn't win 20 games that season. And that really hurt me a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm letting everyone down. What do I do? And, maybe I fuss more, maybe I work them out harder. You're just pulling on things because I don't have that in my arsenal to know what it's like to lose, because I had only won. So I'm looking at other coaches and they yell and they fuss and they get on them, and maybe we go another half hour, we get up early and I'm doing this. And then I realized that's not working either. And so what ended up changing was I had a conversation with my coach, who at that time was still around. He still would come back to practice. And I had a conversation with my dad, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And he said, what was the thing that worked for you when you were playing? And I was like, well, I got in the gym. I came early. I stayed late. And both of them dug deeper for me to get to the point where the realization of why I was able to win in those environments was because of the relationship that was there. My dad was my coach. He cared about me, whether I made or missed the layup. Coach Sheehan was a coach's family man. He cared about me outside of the lines. That coaching now was not just about having the best talent to win, because when I didn't have that talent, there was nothing to sustain me at that point because I didn't have the experience to know what to do then. And then that was the moment that I realized that I was not coaching as a job, that this was the ministry that I was able to get from God.
Mm-hmm.
That for me, God was saying, hey, I'm giving you 15 girls at the most every year to pour into them.
Wow.
Mentally, physically, and spiritually. The winning will come. Because I'm not going to put you in a place where you're not going to be successful. And maybe the winning doesn't come on the board the way you think. Maybe the winning comes because you saved one kid's life. Maybe you're there for a kid whose parents divorced and they're in college and they're away. Maybe you're there for that kid who's struggling because she's a first generational kid that's going to college and she's calling back home to say, I don't know if I can do it. And there's no one there on the other end to say, yes, you can, because none of them have had that experience. And so I realized then that coaching wasn't about wins and losses. It was about pouring into the lives of young people and giving them a space to pour back into you and making it a real relationship. And that is at the point where I coach now, that we recruit players to be in their lives for the rest of their lives. Not for 4 years, but I want that call when you have a baby shower, when you're going to get married. But hold on, check this out, Larry. I've gotten the calls. I've gotten the first call when a parent has died.
Wow.
I said, well, who else did you call? Coach, the first one I could think of was you.
You. How beautiful is that?
I'm on my way. And it didn't matter if she scored 1,000 points for me or sat the bench. I'm on my way, because that's what my coaching began to mean to me back then, that it's a ministry. And so every day I get up, y'all, I win. I win because I show up for them and I allow them to show up for me. And what does that mean? I'm vulnerable too. That there are times where, you know what, I walk in the locker room and I say, y'all, I got that wrong. That's my fault. That's my fault. I'm going to take that. You know, maybe I talked a little too harshly today. You know, that's my fault. And so then there's a dichotomous relationship that forms, that they feel like it's not here and here, that we're here. No, you still have, you know, the authority. You're still the authority figure. But I remember and I recall that what God had set up for me a long time ago was that I played for my dad. Mm-hmm. It was a relationship. And then I went to a coach in college that had a relationship with me. And I've been able to have relationships. And people say, what is the secret of winning? Vanessa, come speak at the coaches clinic. Tell us how you win. The things I talk about are not plays.
That is so beautiful. I don't want to.
You hate to interrupt.
I don't want to interrupt you
because I'm ready to pass the plate. I'm ready at the Holy Trinity Church of George Mason. We're gonna pass the plate.
Larry, please,
an offering for Coach Larry Lewis.
Stand down. Okay. So
I want to know the difference between the kids. I want to know the difference between the kids at George Mason and what made her leave Mount St. Mary's and go to Bethune-Cookman.
Take the atypical path of going from a D1 program to an HBCU. That's the question.
Okay, so later in my career there, I spent 11 years at the Mount. But prior to that, I already spent 4 years as a player. So I'm halfway. I'm in early 30s, and I felt that at a point I was just not complete. That there was something missing. And y'all, I didn't know what it was, because what better life could I have? I'm still in Maryland. I'm close to my family. My dad can come to every game. Obviously, he's a big influencer and impact and influence in my life. I'm at my alma mater. They love me. I love them. We're winning. The next step for me is not HBCU. It was not even in my mind to even leave the Mount. So I'm not thinking of any next steps. I'm just really happy with what I'm doing. But my spirit kept saying there's something. I just didn't know what it was. And then I got a call from Ed Davis, who was is at Morgan State now, but had been in HBCU circuit for his whole career.
Right.
And he said, Vanessa, there's an opening at Bethune-Cookman University. And I was like, what? Where is that?
Where?
We're going to keep it real. I was like, what? Where is that? And, you know, he's like, Vanessa, Daytona Beach. Now, he and my uncle played ball together in West Virginia. So we're like family. He said, nah, you really should think about it. There's some there's some young girls down there that would need somebody like you. And I'm like, okay. So I've researched it, go to the Final Four, I meet the SWA, and I agree to come on an interview. So I get flown to Daytona Beach, and I'm like, oh, hey, this is already okay. Daytona Beach, palm tree. And I really know ignorantly, y'all, little to none about HBCU. Yes, I grew up in Maryland. Howard's in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably one of the best, HBCU.
Morgan's in your backyard. Hampton's in your backyard.
In my backyard. Like all of these schools, but I wasn't recruited by them. So I never had experience to go on campus. I was, a highly touted player coming out of the area. So I'm not going to say I wasn't. I just didn't go to any of those visits. And I know in theory about their established place in history for us. I know in theory. But I get to the campus and I'm like, okay, nice. Okay. And then this is what did it for me. I'm sitting with the players. They're interviewing me as a part of the interview. And I can imagine what I sound like to them because they only won one game the year before. They had never had a winning record for a long time. And I'm coming in with all we do is win, win, win. They're probably like, who is this girl? What do you mean you're going to turn this thing around? And I asked the girls, my last question was, what do you want out of your next head coach? And y'all, I'm not thinking about taking this job. I'm just getting interview practice. I just didn't know what it was, but she asked this question. She said, she answered me this way. Coach, I just want someone that's not going to quit on us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they showed me, every palm tree, every beach, every great meal, Lynn Thompson, arguably the best athletic director in the world. All of those were great. But that question, that answer to my question, what do you want? And her answer of, we just want someone who's not going to quit on us.
That's gorgeous.
And it wasn't, to me, just a shot at who the last coach was. I think it was so much deeper. It was, we want someone that's not going to quit on us in life, that they had been let down so much in life. And I walked out of there and I got to the finishing up and I got on the airplane and I said, I have to take this job.
Wow.
And we got to speed along, but let me just say 4-time MEAC Coach of the Year. First coach in MEAC history to win that award 3 consecutive years. And on and on. Wonderful. And now here's what the rumor has it. Lore has it that one day somebody pulled up on the campus and had the boombox on top of the car, and it was playing this tune that's going to be played in post. And I think it's called Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy. Only they were playing Everybody on the Staff Going to George Mason. And
that was a stretch, wasn't it, Coach?
And the entire staff, your entire staff ends up at George Mason. Now, is any part of that true?
That was a stretch. I know it's hard, Coach. That's hard. But that's when you have old folks. That's what you got to deal with.
Yeah, the last part is true. The entire staff did end up at George Mason.
Everybody on the staff going to Mason.
Everybody.
Well, that says everything about the amazing coach that you are. But we're going to have to pick this up. We're going to have to have you back, Coach. We're going to have you back during the season when you can actually do some recruiting. We can check in on how you're winning, how's everything shaping up. Because I want to know, because you said you wouldn't quit on them, but then you quit and took the whole staff to George Mason. So I want to know what made you decide to quit on them after you said you wasn't gonna quit on them.
No, don't Baker get into that. How long were you at Bethune?
I was at Bethune 14 years. Ain't nobody
14 years, okay.
And you know what?
Okay.
And you don't end the show like that with me. Hold up.
Okay, well, go ahead. What you got?
We're gonna say it right.
Okay.
I told Lynn Thompson, when he hired me, that I would win and take this team to the NCAAs. Now, hold on. This is a team had not won but one game, before. Unheard of. This was not the trek that they had been on. And I stayed until we got on that plane to Notre Dame, and I came good with that.
That's what I'm talking about.
So no,
that's what I'm talking about.
Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. That's what she said.
The Lord had a different assignment for me, y'all.
Okay.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I'm just in a different assignment, but HBCU is still in me.
There you go.
Coach Vanessa Blair Lewis, it has been my personal pleasure. And
you ain't gonna do all the coast Nostra. Well,
no. She knows she's got to come back. She knows she's got to come back. She's family. She's family now. She can't just come on. You know, she got to stay with us. And she's accustomed to doing that. She ain't gonna quit on us. So we know this. Thank you for being here with us on R&R on Sports. We look forward with great anticipation to you coming back and being with us. And we appreciate it. We appreciate it. A phenomenal story. And thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do for our young ladies.
Thank you so much for having me, y'all. This was fun. Time went by so fast.
It did.
We got a lot more to talk about. We'll be back for more R&R on Sports right after this.
Kadzukian.
The company is based in Memphis, but it is international.
A new building, an expanded team, new equipment, a new studio, all inside of 7 years.
The resources that we were able to utilize with Kazukian and their team has been incredible. And our partners at Kazukian has been a large part of our success.
One, it's Black owned. So we get to tell our own stories in our own way.
With social media and the technology we have today, the world is listening.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS. Are you ready?
Back for more as we head to the door. So our time for shout outs and to say goodbye. I want to shout out and say goodbye to a consummate actor.
Really?
Method. I don't know if you'd call him a method actor or what, but I'm talking about the late great Louis Gossett Jr.
Man,
hail and farewell, brother. I mean,
that's interesting that you would bring him up.
Why?
Because I mean, man, I've been watching Lou Gossett damn near all my life.
Yeah.
I mean, you think I mean back in Roots and whatnot. I mean, it's like
played Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige, man. I mean, it just goes his I guess you go filmography has been. It's just absolutely amazing.
It is
a body of work.
It is absolutely amazing. He was in A Raisin in the Sun, the original movie Raisin in the Sun, with Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee. Yes.
I mean, he was in the original Raisin in the Sun.
He was. I think he was the daughter's boyfriend. Or dated, they dated or something. But anyway, he was in the movie. He was in so many things, man. He was such a consummate actor. So
Officer and the Gentleman.
That won him an Academy Award.
Man, I mean, Lou Gossett, but he's also
and he was just in Color Purple.
First black man to win supporting actor Oscar. Mm-hmm. That's actually pretty amazing.
And if you look back, here's the amazing thing on the Oscars. If you look back do you know that when Isaac Hayes won it for Shaft, he was only the third African American ever to win an Oscar? Really? Hattie McDaniel, Sidney Poitier, and then Isaac Hayes. So I'm saying when Lou Gossett won it, the woods weren't deep in black folk who had ever won Oscars.
Right. The Color Purple. We're forgetting The Color Purple. He was in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Lou Gossett, he was just in that.
Yeah, Lou Gossett Jr., man, just really an amazing actor and one that I just want to say Godspeed, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rest
All
in
right.
peace.
All right. We appreciate you being with us here on R&R on Sports as always. I'm Harvard.
And I am the great one. I'm the
eyelash
Slayer. Eyelash Slayer, brother.
Okay.
Get it right.
All right. You
Get it right.
All right. You're going to get smacked.
Hey, man, listen. There's a bald head
Blown
woman in
away
India.
by some eyelashes.
There's a bald head and bald eyed woman in India looking for her.
What happened to Larry? He got blown away. Oh, somebody shot. No, eyelashes. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.
Peace.
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.